But I thought you had some data that the Great Resignation wasn't real.
I think it's under debate, but the last few things I've read is that it was overstated, that it really wasn't as bad as it was. A lot of people were just retiring, for example, or just didn't want to come back to work. So, but again, the narrative has been there's been this Great Resignation. I've seen some early studies that say that that may have been overstated, that it really isn't the case. But you would know better than I do. You talk to executives every day. What are they telling you?
Yeah, no, there's definitely fallout, right? The question is why. The common anecdote is, you know, enough is enough. Life is too short. I think it's less about. I quite honestly think it's less about I'm afraid to go to work. Maybe if you travel a lot, internationally. But the people that traveled internationally, I find most of them are happy to be traveling again, right? They liked the travel. They like the travel. So I don't think it's as much of that. Okay, maybe they realized I don't need to be on a plane 49 weeks out of the year. But they'd certainly like to be on a plane 12 times a year or 20 times a year more than they are now, or they have been the last couple of years. So I don't buy the, for the majority. I don't buy the whole I'm afraid to go, right? Yeah, I think it's more, hey, I realized I have a family. I want to spend more time with my family. It's what we used to call a work-life balance, which was kind of a misnomer that really exists, but for most people, and it's like, hey, I can do a lot of the same things that I did in person, remotely, and I can spend time with my family. I mean, you look at the amount of hours that people spend working.
Yeah.
For a long time, it just increased and increased and increased. Now you look at some of the numbers. I don't. That's one of those stats I didn't pull up, but the number of hours that the average worker works has actually gone down, right? And so, is that technology, or is that just people, not being as efficient, or focused? There was a stat, a couple of years ago. 85% of employees are not engaged at work. So, productivity, maybe it's productivity going down. I think we have this old model in our heads, a lot of us, that hours equals output, right? Which is not necessarily the case. And I think there's been some stats recently, that stat about 85% of employees not being engaged. By the way, the economic consequence of that, according to the study, was $7 trillion in lost productivity, and that was before the pandemic, right? So I think organizations and people need to decouple time with productivity, especially where we are in the world as it relates to automation and AI.